Hello, everyone, and welcome along to another This is the Music Meets podcast. If you are new to the podcast, please hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any future episodes. And if you're loving the podcast, then don't forget to tell your friends as well. For episode 90, I'm delighted that Cardiff rock and roll four-piece Pacifica are the latest guests on the This is the Music Meets podcast. Over the course of today's episode, I'll be finding out how the band started, the recording process for their brand new single, Hey Man, and which band member would join a religious cult. So, Pacifica, thank you very much for coming along today. I'm joined by Sam and Toby from the band. So, it's a warm welcome to you both. How are you both doing today?
Good. Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Very well.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Well, as I say,
how are you, Mark?
Yeah, thank you. Not too bad. A rarity for me today. I'm normally home based, but I had to go into the office today, so it has been a bit of a long day for me. But I'm all good. We'll plow through this podcast, and we're going to find out some interesting stuff. I'm sure about you guys. But kind of like before we get on to all of that, really, just sort of so the listeners know, really, this is the music listeners, kind of like. Who are you in terms of the band? Obviously, I know I've already introduced you both, but what kind of like do you both do within the band, and obviously as well your other two bandmates as well?
Yeah, so I'm the singer and the lead guitarist because I'm the best looking, so that's how it works. And yeah. So see, we got Tom, who's not here, who's the bassist. Will, who's the lead guitarist, and then Toby's the drummer.
Yeah.
Excellent, great stuff. Because obviously, I'll come on to that in a minute, actually. But kind of like then for both of you, what are your earliest musical memories in terms like when you were growing up? Can you remember bopping around to like a certain song or maybe a band that someone was playing? What was that like? What was that for you?
Well, personally, I think music didn't really sort of become the main prospect of my life until I was in maybe 15 or 16. But I do remember a lot growing up, my parents listening to people like Queen, Guns N' Roses, a lot of country music, surprisingly. But it does reflect, I think, a lot in what I do personally. But yeah, mainly just sort of the early memories of sitting in the back of the car listening to whatever's been put on the radio, really.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. And how about you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into music. My dad's really into his music, so for me, he was listening. I remember him playing me like Appetite for Destruction, Guns N' Roses, and just Stereophonics, Oasis. Obviously, my actually pretty good Welsh in there, but yeah, it was all that sort of stuff. And like Queen. The stuff in my mouth on the car and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, sure. And then in terms of like picking up a musical instrument, obviously Toby, you just sort of saying there maybe a little bit later, sort of 15, 16. Was that the drums for you straight away, or was you sort of, maybe messing around with something else first? And again, Sam, the same question for you. When did you decide to pick up the guitar and to start singing?
Well, initially, me being introduced to drums was actually because of Sam. He was looking to sort of start a band, and me having never played an instrument before in my life, he thought, well, he thought initially I'd be good at drums because at the time I was quite big on rap, so he thought my rhythm was there already.
I wanted to get in there somehow, so I thought that's probably the best one.
So that was the best he came up with. But yeah, but before that, no, I haven't really given it much thought. But since I haven't looked back since, and I'm very appreciative of that, Samuel.
Oh, you're welcome. I used to it was funny. We kind of, me and Will kind of started the band, but we didn't really play. Like most people, they've been playing since they were born. But for us, we all kind of. I've always written songs. I've been writing songs since I was a little kid, but I would just write them actually write them or just sing them. You know what I mean? But then when we was about 15, like me and Will were like, let's make a band. None of us can play an instrument, so let's like learn as we go. So we've like we wrote the songs to what we were doing at the time. Yeah, it was a funny one. Like we playing together since we were like 15. When we were obviously terrible, but then now we've sort of grown and learned with the band. It's weird.
Yeah.
I started playing the guitar to be in the band. So
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
that was a long-winded answer. Sorry.
I'm not. So then, so kind of like then, so you was all what 15, 16 roughly when Pacifica started then. So kind of like how obviously I'm getting the impression that Will, Sam and Toby, what you all went to the same school. Is that the same as well with Tom as well? Is that how you all sort of met and sort of went,
Yeah.
that way really?
Yeah, me and Will, we were all in the same class in school. So I've known him since he was a fat 11-year-old. But like, but yeah, we were all in the same class, and Tom was in our year as well, and Toby kind of knew Tom. So, and there was someone else in the band before, and then Tom like music, so we got him in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the name as well? Where did that come from? What was the inspiration behind that? Just
idea.
like the sound of it.
No idea. No idea. I just popped in my head one day.
Right,
I think it's kind of.
It's a type of guitar, isn't it? Or is it?
Oh yeah,
it's a,
yeah. You know the Yamaha Pacifica. You've seen that at a shop.
Okay, right, yeah.
But that was just kind of in my head. No, I must have just pulled out somewhere. But yeah,
there was a lot. There was a lot in the works before that, and they were all
we had
disgustingly bad. Yeah.
Can you share any of those with us tonight? Can you remember any of them?
Toby wants to call the band Rosie for a while.
I still think that's great. I mean,
it's terrible. We had Tidal
Remedy. Tidal Remedy, yeah. And I think my favorite one is Loose Cannon. I like that one.
I do.
Yeah,
I like the sound of them. They're good, man. I like them. Obviously, Pacifica's better, but yeah, they're pretty cool as well. Obviously, then you got the band together, and then sort of it was about March, wasn't it? I think in 2022 that you put out Orchard Drive, which I'm not sure if I should say that this is a single with sort of like an A side and then I guess almost like two B sides, or whether or not if it was an EP. We'll let the listeners kind of like make their own mind up on that when they go back and listen to it. But obviously, say 3 songs on it. So kind of like how did that decision come around to sort of put 3 songs out all at once?
Well, we kind of decided we were going to do. We initially was going to do some demos,
right?
Because we'd never done anything in the studio before. We'd done gigs but we wanted to put something out, so we just thought we'll get some demos and we can send off to people. So we went over with this guy, Andrew Sanders, and he was like, "Well, don't do that. Let's just do some songs." And we were like, "All right, cool." So we had those 3 that we were like, they're probably the best time we have. So yeah, we just put them out. I think we didn't really know what we were doing. Like we didn't have any help with them or putting out or anything. We just sort of asked people like obviously they were called Columbia, but they're now those Heavy Souls.
Craig and the boys.
So they helped us. They helped us a lot with the release of that because they just knew more than what I wanted about it. And so and yeah, we just put them out, and I wish we hadn't done the more to it thing. We should have saved them up, but we didn't know what we were doing.
If we had done it again, we probably would have done bit by bit, because releasing 3 songs off the back is a bit of a bold move, but
or just done Rock and Roll Talking and left the other 2 in there.
Yes, yeah, sure. Well, I think looking at the streaming numbers for a debut release, I mean, I think it's done pretty well, considering. Although I can definitely understand why you'd maybe wanted to maybe hold them back and have sort of 3 singles out rather than all in one go. But it is for those that haven't heard it, it really is a fantastic collection of songs. And I mean, it was one of my favourite. I think I did put it down as one of my favourite EPs of the year last year. So great record, I have to say. And then sort of a few months after that, You obviously followed that up then with Hollow, which for me was quite different in terms of like the sound that you had going on Orchard, you know, on the three songs we've just mentioned there with sort of like Orchard Drive. So kind of like then, I guess really like Hollow was, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that Hollow was like a little bit more of a like a rocker, not rocker, a rocky type of song, if that makes some sort of sense. Whereas the others were, I guess, maybe still rocking, but they were maybe a little bit more sort of like indie rock. Whereas Hollow and Hey Man, we'll come on to that in a minute, are a little bit more sort of your sort of more alternative rock, if that makes some sort of sense. So kind of like why then I guess is like the change in the sound there that you've gone for.
Well, I think the biggest thing that is possibly still going on today is we're still trying to really figure out our sound in a way.
Yeah.
But also we also talk about this a lot, is that a lot of our songs, they don't really fit into one specific genre. We because obviously Sam writes a lot of the songs, I write a lot of the songs as well. We both like different things, and things sort of fall into where they fall into. We don't really write for a specific thing. So I think they come out how they come out, I guess. And that one just happened to come out a bit more hard going.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've got quite a wide range of tastes. But I don't really mind. I mean, I suppose like it would be good to have like one sound that we had. I don't really mind the fact that we don't really sit in indie or alternative. I kind of like the fact that we kind of we can kind of do a bit of both. And I think like when people come and see us, it sounds like one show, but I think people go, to be fair, like none of your songs sound the same. They've all got their own little thing about them. And I think when I write, I tend to write them probably veering slightly more towards indie, and Toby writes slightly more towards alternative. So like I wrote the three on the EP, and Toby wrote all of them. So you can kind of see where both our styles kind of veer a little bit towards. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with having that different sound at all. And it, I don't know if you've heard of them, but Box of Trash from Scotland, they've got a similar type of thing, to be honest, going on. They've just put an EP out a few weeks ago, and again, that sort of, you've got your sort of indie stuff, but there is a couple of sort of rockers on there as well, which is quite nice to actually hear that bands are, you know, I guess as you were saying there, Sam and Toby as well, that you don't want to necessarily be like pigeonholed into one specific genre. And I think, you know, yeah, fair play to you. I think that's quite good to see, to have that versatility within the music that you've got. And obviously, part of the reason why we're here this evening, obviously, is to talk about the brand new single, Hey Man, which came out last Friday, the 3rd of November. It is a fantastic tune. So kind of like then, what was the writing and recording process like for that? And I guess you've kind of already answered it in some ways, but looking at the sound of the band, do you think that this is the way that you're going to go in the like with future releases, or is it very much just going to be dependent on you guys picking your favorite song from what you've got ready to go, if that's without maybe giving too much away about what's coming up in the future?
We've got two more recorded that will be coming out. Either the end of this year or next year, and they don't sound anything like Hey Man. They all sound
We've got three different things that could be from any other band. They are very.
They don't sound. Yeah. I don't think. I think we like. I get one, but I get the whole thing about like needing to have a sound and all this sort of stuff. But I think I just get bored doing the same thing. Like I think we like the fact. Yeah, it's just. I feel like I'd be bored if I writing the same song over and over again, writing in the same style.
We really don't want to fall into that thing of like, oh, they're great, but every song sounds the same, and that is a big fear of mine, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure. But sorry, you asked about the writing of Hey Man. So obviously Toby wrote that. But when you wrote it, I don't want to speak for you, but when you wrote that, it was quite like it was kind of like the Verve when he wrote it.
Right.
It was quite soft. It was acoustic. It was quite soft, and it was a bit faster as well. And I said, like, then I wrote the little guitar bit at the start, and I said, like, right, let's like run it out a bit and try and make it a bit like I don't know. I think I try and make it a bit epic.
Yeah.
Sounding with, and then when Will did the and we had it for ages when it was three of us. And then when Will came back to the band and did added all the slide guitar and stuff, it was like, right, that's the one. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I think a big thing as well is we have songs in the pipeline for a while and we let them adapt because obviously we play them live and we think, well, that doesn't work, obviously, like any band. And then yeah, as you said, we had it in for a while and things started getting added, and then eventually it sort of makes its own sound in a way.
Yeah.
Just because of how we sort of feel about it when we play it more and more.
I think if any song could sum up what I think Pacifica is, that's the one. I think that's our best song.
Oh, okay. Well, funny enough, that actually leads me on to the next question, which is going to be out of obviously the 5 songs that you've put out across Spotify at the moment. Have you got a favourite song at this moment in time?
I think Hey Man and Rock and Roll Talking are my two. Well, I think everyone says that. I think those two are.
Yeah. I think, well, obviously, Hey Man, we're incredibly proud of it, and it is amazing. But personally, I think a lot of our earlier songs, the first 3, we went through a rocky period of thinking they're not as great because we're just a bit critical. But as time's gone on, I think Orchard Drive is probably one of my favourites that I consistently listen to. That's probably my favourite song.
Yeah, no.
You listen to our songs.
Yeah, don't you?
Well, I can definitely say with the Orchard Drive release that it's definitely, whenever I hear it, it definitely, still sounds really exciting. Even, what is it, 18 months or so later. So yeah, and obviously, as we've just said, Hey Man as well. That's a fantastic song. I do like how it is different from that early release, and obviously Hollow as well. But a bit of a slight change of pace in terms of question. We're obviously about 6 weeks or so away from Christmas, and I've kind of got to ask, really, would Pacifica ever consider maybe doing releasing an original Christmas song, or would you rather go for a cover? And if you would, which cover? And if it was a cover, which one would you choose?
I think we'll just get I think we'll get me and Toby duetting "Baby It's Cold Outside." I think we'll do a video as well.
We could do a cracking job with that. I know we can.
We could. We get Cutchin on the sofa.
That's it. You've heard it here first. There you go. It's maybe probably a bit too late for this year, but maybe in the future we're going to hear a bit of "Baby It's Cold Outside" from Pacifica. I'd quite like to hear that version. Actually,
we did last Christmas or Christmas before. We did a rugby club near us, and we did what was it called? What's the Slade one called?
Merry
Christmas, everybody. Yeah.
Oh, we did that. That was too fair. When we played that, and they all got up on the tables and danced, and that's in a genuine answer. That one. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a classic Christmas tune. That one, isn't it? Has to say. So, I know that both of you, I believe, are Cardiff City fans. So how did that start off? Is that a family thing, or did you just sort of get dragged along one Saturday afternoon to go and watch them?
It's just being from Cardiff, isn't it? Yeah, a lot of people were like obviously Man United or Liverpool or Chelsea fans, that thing. But my granddad's a big Cardiff fan, and my brother's a big Cardiff fan, and a lot of my closer friends were Cardiff fans, so I used to do that with them when we were, and it was quite a good when we were sort of kids. It was quite a good time to be a Cardiff fan because we were always like there or thereabouts going up being promoted. We never got promoted when I was a kid, but it was quite exciting. And we had like Craig Bellamy and Michael Sharp. So for me, it was exciting, and it was cool to not support a Premier League club. I always thought.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely
more exciting. Pretty bad.
And kind of like obviously this season, I know it was about what 13, 14 games into the season, I think it is roughly. Doing pretty well. Obviously seventh in the league, 1 point off of the playoffs. Is this going to be, obviously it's been, I think, what, 5, 6 seasons, I think, roughly since you were last in the Premier League, maybe a little bit, maybe a couple of years younger than that, 8 years. Right, okay. So is this going to be the season that Cardiff get back into the league? Because I believe you've got Norwich on Saturday. So if you win that, but obviously clearly based on other results, you could go up to third in the league, I think.
Yeah, but it's better than last year when we were looking at. I thought, because at the end of last year, I thought we were going down to League One. So the fact that we're doing, I think it's, I like the manager, and I think, yeah, it seems like it's a good. Like, there's not like one, apart from Ramsey, there's not one real standout player. I don't think. But it seems like a really good team, and after because we all went down to go and watch the movie Swansea, which was just the best day ever. And and like, you got the feeling they were like a proper team of like they were, obviously Ramsey was just like the guy, but the rest of them felt like a proper unit of players. And so I don't know. I don't think we'll go up, but I think we'll it'll be exciting.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I guess that's, it's the hope, isn't it? That's what you want every year of actually having a good season and not being, as you just mentioned there, about struggling at the bottom end of the table. So yeah, fingers crossed that you do, because I know yeah, I've been there a couple of times with gigs and stuff over the years, and I like the ground where you are now. And I think that a lot of people like the away day out as well, down in Cardiff. So fingers crossed for that.
Well, I wouldn't want to go in the away end in Cardiff. It seems quite volatile.
Okay, so obviously, as you know, or hopefully you know anyway, here at This Is The Music, we like to try and shine a light on unsigned bands like Pacifica that are, trying to establish themselves on the new music indie sort of scene, indie rock scene, whatever you want to call it. So kind of like in 2023, have there been any bands or artists on that scene that you guys have been checking out and going, yeah, do you know what, I really like them?
Oh, there have been a few. We've been a bit more proactive going to do more gigs in our area, and I will say someone we initially made quite a sort of a friendship with is Basic State. You probably know them.
Yeah.
It's quite.
Yeah, but this kind of, to be fair, it's quite good at the moment. There's yeah, obviously we will say Big State again because we're good mates with him, but he's obviously he's a lot bigger than us, but Tom Watt is just because he produced our songs and he's class.
He's a beast.
He's just a legend. And we saw Papa Dukes the other night, and I thought they were really good.
Oh yeah, race. God.
Rivers are good.
Yeah.
That's a loaded question. There's a lot of good music in Cardiff in a minute, I gotta say.
There is.
Yes.
Airflow, I thought were quite good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come out against you, man.
New band, aren't they?
Yeah, I thought they were quite good. Nookie, they were class when I seen them in club. But yeah, there's a fair few, Keith.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's actually quite refreshing to hear some new couple of names there that are from. Oh, no, go on, Sam.
Sorry, I just thought of someone because I was listening to it literally on the walk going from uni earlier. Megan Wynn, I think she's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's great. As I say, there's some familiar names in there for me as well, and I think as you both rightly said, I think that Cardiff and Wales as well in general, there's a great scene going on down there, and I think it just sort of proves that if you are prepared to look a little bit further afield rather than just sort of like England, like the major cities, in England, that there is a lot else going on, and long may that continue as well in that part of the world. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to throw some quick fire questions at you now to sort of maybe find out a little bit more about you guys as personalities as well within the band. So the first one is, what is the one item that you wouldn't be able to live without?
Oh,
Fuck.
my guitar. Saying my guitar is really, really basic. So I'm not going to say it. But
Oh yeah, my drums, man. I can't live without my drums, man. I need them.
I'll probably say
Uh,
it's hard.
I don't really know.
Okay, right. So this one is, would you rather fight a kangaroo-sized duck or 10 duck-sized kangaroos?
I was having this conversation literally yesterday with someone, right? Now, that is horses, not kangaroos, but same thing. Think
Yeah.
about it, right? You get loads of little ones, right? You could just kick them away, right? A massive duck, you've had it.
Especially the way they walk like that. You're not hitting anything. That's Muhammad Ali kind of movement. You're not going for anything like that.
And they're vicious as well, ducks. That sounds a bit weird, but they're cruel. They got bad intentions.
What's your favorite musical film document? Or sorry, let me start that one again. What's your favorite musical film or musical documentary of all time?
Supersonic.
Yeah,
Supersonic.
Supersonic is great.
Over COVID, me and Toby used to you can do like Netflix party.
Yeah.
Me and Toby used to like go on there and watch Supersonic all the time.
Just together, just me and him.
We'd
message in the chat like, "Oh, this is gonna be us one day," and like, just yeah.
Also, the Rolling Thunder Bob Dylan one as well is good.
Oh, okay. I'm not. I mean, obviously you can tell clearly that I'm a bit of an Oasis fan. And yeah, so I went.
Is that the new vinyl?
It is, yeah. Luckily, it came
that.
today, so I haven't actually had a chance to listen to it yet on vinyl. So I'm looking forward to that. But I can't disagree with you on Supersonic, and I'll have to check out the Bob Dylan one as well. Which band member is most likely to run off and join a religious cult?
Oh. Who'd you say?
Well. He's an idiot.
And is there any other reason for that, or is it just purely simply because he's an idiot?
I think he'd get carried away. I think he'd love it.
And he's probably the only one out of all of us I can imagine like growing his hair out and wearing like a leaf as underwear and having small game in the California desert and stuff.
He does that. He does that already. Yeah.
That's the final answer.
Well, yeah, to be fair, Tom would probably enjoy it, but Will I think would get sucked in.
Brilliant. Okay, so which band member is always late, be it for sound checks, rehearsals, gigs, band socials? Which band member?
I reckon one, you or me.
Yeah, has to, because we normally go together. So yeah. Me.
Have there been any near mishaps or anything like that at all with anything? Like I'm thinking sort of like from the gigs or maybe like rehearsal type thing, where it's got to be too
in terms of like we've been late, or
gigs, not so much. Gigs
are pretty good at,
but in terms of like rehearsals, someone is always late. Like that's just a fact.
I think we're a bit we're not like we're like good on timings, but we're a bit bad on the details sometimes. I think we'll get to a gig and suddenly realize someone's forgotten their bassist, he forgot. We did a festival last summer and he forgot his was it your stool? Your snare stand. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we played that same festival again a few months ago, and I forgot my stool. So yeah.
So what did you do? Did you borrow someone else's or go home and
go around and beg? Really, that's all it was.
I went out into the for the first with a snare stand. No one backstage had one, so I went out into the crowd and I was like, "Yo, listen, anyone got a spare snare stand knocking about?" And this woman just did, so it was good.
Yeah.
Oh, happy
Yeah,
days.
this
Not
woman
all
just had
bad.
one.
Well,
Yeah,
there you go. It's not all
yeah.
bad at all then.
Yeah.
So, what's next then for Pacifica over the next sort of 6 months or so? What can we expect in terms of, new music releases? Are there any live gigs coming up? Obviously, we've established that you're going to be recording a Christmas song at some point in the near future. But yeah, what else on a more serious note? What else have you got coming up?
Yeah, we've got a gig. We've got a few gigs. We've got a gig in Treforest and Green Rooms. We've got a gig in the Globe in Cardiff which is on the 22nd of December. And then I think we're going to have a few more gigs then in the new year. We're supporting someone, I can't remember who, it was only offered to us the other day. I can't, it was in
Right.
Kourou. And then we were also hopefully going to have a gig down in Exeter because I'm in Union. I go to Union in Exeter.
Right.
So, so I think we're going to have a gig down here, which will be, I think we'll probably sell out, which will be good. And then in terms of songs coming out, we've got one now at some point, and then another one at another point. But I think the new one is much more. The next one will be much more like the auto drive stuff.
Right. Okay.
And then yeah, I think those two will be out. So they'll both be in 6 months' time. They'll both be out. So
Basically, they're going to be different to what we've just released, which is sort of our theme of just sort of we set the bounds for one thing and then the next thing is completely different. So
keeping everybody guessing with what's coming next, which I think is no bad thing in my book whatsoever. But Sam and Toby, that is unfortunately the end of episode 90 of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. Thank you both so much for coming on. I've really enjoyed it and getting to sort of put some names to faces as well. So I really appreciate that, and I've had a really, really good time getting to chat with you both, as I say. But just before I do let you go, can you let the This Is the Music listeners know the social media platforms that they can find Pacifica on?
Yeah, we are primarily on Instagram. It's Pacifica band _ or Pacifica _ band CF. And then Spotify is Pacifica. And then we are trying to get on Facebook a bit more, which is just Pacifica as well. But yeah, that's the main thing. We're on every music platform as well. So find us anywhere. Brilliant.
Great stuff. Well, I will put those links in the episode bio as well to help find out and get some traffic going your way. Look, as I say, it's been fantastic having you both on. I've really enjoyed it. And I'm really excited as well to hear the new songs as well that you've just mentioned that are going to be coming out very, very soon. And I wish you both the best. Well, all four of you, but obviously you two. Good luck with the. Good luck with the upcoming gigs that you've got as well, because it does really sound like you've got a very, very exciting sort of 6 months, coming up. So yeah, good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for tuning in to the latest This Is the Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any future episodes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the bands and artists we discover to 3, 2, 1. And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for tuning in to the latest This Is the Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any future episodes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the bands and artists we interview to be discovered. Thanks for listening, and I will see you somewhere down the road.